This coming Sunday is Mother's Day in France, but in a number of other countries it has already been celebrated, while in others it's still yet to come. For more on the origins of Mother's Day and why there's so many differences, we can bring in Solange Mougin. Solange, every Sunday I fear it's Mother's Day because we get confused, right?
Yeah.
Which one do we celebrate?
Well, that's another question. But Mother's Day is all across the map when it comes to when nations celebrate it. Kind of like moms, they're all different and special in their own way. But it would be too long and too boring to go date by date of the 130 countries that celebrate. So I've selected a few nifty tidbits and drawn some broad commonalities about Mother's Day's rich history. But first, the tidbits. In the UK, Mother's Day was originally called Mothering Sunday, and it's held on the fourth Sunday of Lent because originally it was about returning to your mother church or the parish that you grew up in. Another fun tidbit comes from Thailand, where it's the national holiday, and it's celebrated on August 12th, the Queen Mother's birthday. Another one is that many former Soviet nations, they celebrate Mother's Day on International Women's Day in March. As for some of the common broad lines, many nations celebrate Mother's Day in May. As we can see from the upcoming grab, there we go, this map, this is from the site Maps of the World. All those in dark blue, well, those are nations that celebrate in May. Many celebrate on the second Sunday of May and have followed in the footsteps of the United States in this regard, and I'll get into why that date was picked in a second. But other countries, like in France, well, they celebrate on the last Sunday of May, unless it falls on the Pentecost Sunday, and then it's pushed to June. Not very straightforward.
So confusing.
So confusing. But May, or springtime, the spring timing does have a historical precedent. For centuries, dating back to at least ancient Greece and the worshipping of Zeus's mother, Rhea, there have been spring and motherhood festivities. It makes sense. It's spring, it's rebirth. But beyond this, the modern day celebration of Mother's Day was really, if not established, well then cemented as a thing to do by an American woman named Anna Jarvis, who actually ended up never having children, but upon the death of her mother, Anne Jarvis, who herself had had over a dozen children, including Anna, and who had dedicated her life to public service and to peace activism, her daughter wanted to pay tribute to her mother's legacy. So in 1907, she held a religious service to celebrate her mother and called for an annual Mother's Day to be held on the second Sunday of May, the day that her mom died. She envisioned the celebration really from the eyes of a daughter. Again, she had no children, with calls to distribute her mom's favorite flower, white carnations, and to send notes home to mom. After some rejection, some American lawmakers, they balked at this, joking it would be a mother-in-law's day. But nonetheless, it began to be celebrated nationwide by 1911. And in 1914, President Woodrow Wilson, well, he finally agreed and created the first Mother's Day in the United States.
Now, the popularity of Mother's Day in the US ended up creating quite a lot of anger, one can say, for Anna Jarvis.
Yeah, it did. For her, this was really a personal thing. Again, she trademarked that it be the second Sunday of May, and she specified that mother be written in the singular with apostrophe S and not in the plural, mother's S, and then the apostrophe. And very quickly, Jarvis became disillusioned, saying it had become a day of consumerism, calling it, quote, a burdensome, wasteful, and expensive gift day. Now, a larger societal debate and rivalry ensued over whether to call it Parents' Day, but eventually this sole day to celebrate mothers won out, and Father's Day emerged as well. Today, in many countries, offering flowers and cards is how people celebrate, of course. In the U.S., the projected spending for this year was over $24 billion. And in France, it's thought, according to 2022 figures, that households spend around 60 euros, or the equivalent of 2 billion euros, to celebrate les mamans. And then, of course, there are all those school-made cards, macaroni necklaces, and blocks of clay, and memorized songs from toddlers.
We only tell fathers about our gift, not moms.
Imagine that my hand is a daisy. Let's see if mum loves me or loves me not. A little bit, passionately, or not at all. Mean flower. I know my mum loves me with all her heart. A mother is full of stars, kisses, and flowers.
Can you tell me what Mother's Day is?
C'est bien.
Happy Mother's Day.
Now, Solange, staying here in France, there's a rumor that Maréchal Pétain created La Fête des Mères, or Mother's Day, here.
Yeah, it's a false rumor. It's not true. The Vichy regime did not create Mother's Day in France. There were already events and awards honoring mothers, namely those that had a lot of children in the early 1900s, actually as a means to encourage women to have kids and repopulate the nation. This came around the same time as laws outlawing contraception, 1920, creating financial help for larger families, 1932. But in France, it wasn't until May 1950 that Mother's Day was written into the law books and became a nationwide thing. So it is not true that La Fête des Mères, Mother's Day, is a Pétain event, even if Vichy did push pro-large family ideologies. And luckily, this false rumor, has not kept French families from celebrating. Most do offer a little something to their biological mom, their stepmom, their moms, plural, or anyone that has taken on that motherhood role. And 63% of French people say, this is according to a YouGov France poll, that they have never forgotten to wish their mom a happy Mother's Day.
Solange, I always my nickname for you is Mama Solange, because I know you're a proud mama, and I think that like Valentine's Day, which is every day, Mother's Day should be every day. So
I agree.
Thank you so much for breaking that down for us, Solange Mougin there.